Just realized the glitter coating for this part is like literally right here. Can someone explain what dreams even are? I have dreamt of using the bathroom and then woken up almost peeing myself. I have woken up sobbing, inconsolably angry at something my boyfriend did in my dream. And since it seemed so real, it took me a couple minutes to calm down. And until I changed to pre-repose behaviors, dreams didn't seem to do much else but perplex and fade rapidly from memory. Once I started falling asleep with the sound of TV in the background and covering my eyes with the sleeve of a long sleeve shirt, I began having complex, vivid dreams that would often consist of dozens of people I mostly did not recognize and plots with many complicated moving parts. For like a month, I would have dreams about a certain person, or there would just be some recurring theme, and it's usually really vague and just really weird. So these are some of the notes that I took as soon as I woke up. They're really random, but I don't know, they made sense at the time. Okay, not movie theater, movie. Blocking, placement, oh, okay, like theater blocking, like placement would be this one. You're doing things and shit. Oh, okay, I remember this one. There were these like boxes with like Nendoroid dolls. People could buy them and you would like essentially be able to buy a person that looked like the doll that you bought. So you'd be buying a doll and a person. And got my box and it looked like me. My nose was pink. I had bunny ears and I was wearing something red. I only wrote down part of it, but there was this woman and she was having a baby and she pulled it out and then put it on her stomach and she immediately said it didn't hurt and I'm having way more. People screamed while tires crushed their teeth. Spanish teeth. This literally says Spanish teacher saw. Girls died. Girl's face became bone. Sisters battle for talent. I don't think they were battling for talent. I think it was like a talent battle, something. When I experienced pain for the first time, there was some dramatic plot, and the climax was the perceived villain character and I ended up in this place, and whatever he was doing was what I was doing. We were kind of doing that theater exercise. He needed to die. I don't remember what happened that led up to this, but there was like a thick rope. I wrapped it around my neck and I started like pulling. So he was also pulling this rope that was somehow around his neck, I guess? I don't know. And I was pulling with all of my strength, and unlike if that were actually happening, which I feel like there would be most of the pressure in your neck and then just like blood, like, you know, trapped in your head and it's like pulsing, and that's what I would like imagine, but that's not what I felt. I didn't feel specifically pain in my head or my neck. I just felt like pain like overall in my body, and after I had been like strangling myself, but I was actually strangling him, right? It seemed to be due to not having oxygen, and my vision faded, kind of like it was like darkness like closing in on my sight. As you are probably aware, you can't die in your dreams. So I probably did some equivalent of like letting go at some point after I lost consciousness, and my life, like my senses started returning, which was also especially painful. I'm back. I just had to move a bed down here. Anyway. Anywho, on another occasion, I experienced extreme pleasure. That's super awkward though, so it wasn't like I was doing anything or anything was happening to me, but it was just like... Anyway, again, I had a dream where I felt extreme pain. At some point, this old guy like stuck a syringe into my arm. It was like green cartoon nonsense. and I didn't feel any pain at the injection site, but I just felt this like searing pain like in my blood. My whole body felt heavy. It was like I was being destroyed on a cellular level. The same fading out blackness occurred. Sometime after this, I experienced the very intense pleasure again. Ew. One night I'd woken up completely like to go pee. I was like half awake, and when I fell back asleep, my dream continued. I've had multiple dreams where I wasn't me, and I wasn't objectively aware of that, and where other people I knew looked like other people, but I still interacted with them as if they were the person that they were not looking like at the moment. I'm noticing like a lot of things don't have to be accurate, and when you're dreaming, you don't have access to the internal dialogue. So you're not fact checking, you're not second guessing, you're just kind of accepting everything that's going on, and you're just there for the ride. And then when you wake up, it is the most relieving feeling. Like sometimes dreaming can be fun. It's like playing a video game or watching a movie, but sometimes it's absolutely terrifying because when you're dreaming you think that it's 100% real and happening. While you're dreaming, inaccuracies are of no concern to yourself. So anyway, that's not really worth mentioning. I often see myself from like a third perspective, but it's not something I notice until I'm awake. One dream I had, I was in like a park and it was getting dark, and I was in my car and I was trying to get out, and the thing I did to try to get out resulted in my like video game style death, where you just like spawn back to where you were, almost like Mario Kart. And it was like really frustrating because I like saw an exit, you know, and it just goes onto the road, but for some reason I didn't take it, I couldn't take it, or I got distracted. Like one time I like drove off a cliff somehow. Eventually I gave up. I remember seeing this like trailer, not like the ones with wheels, but just like shipping container almost. And I was like rummaging through somebody's stuff, and I was with somebody that I didn't recognize, and I obviously wasn't like an intruder because they were like cool with me just going through this person's stuff. It was later revealed to me that they belonged to her sister who had passed away, and I didn't look like myself. Again, I wasn't unwelcome, so I assumed that I was somebody that she knew at the moment. The next day there was like a bunch of people crammed into this trailer, like morning or something. Someone I went to school with was there and asked if I wanted to leave and smoke weed. It was like he was trying to get me out of there, but for some reason everyone had been like sharing each other's phones, and mine got lost in the sauce. Switching and trading phones and like not having access to my phone, or like being able to contact somebody, is definitely a theme that I for some reason had in my dreams. Just those are like the weirdest dreams for me too, because sometimes it's like I have my phone and then I'm trying to call somebody and like contact them and like get them to come help me or like leave or something, and I can't. I keep getting distracted, or I can't press the buttons. It's like nonsense. There were these people that were taking out white trash bags, including another kid I went to school with, who indicated he had my phone, but the guy that was trying to get me out to go smoke and presumably try to get me to leave or like help me, I don't know, was just like, leave it. But I followed the guy with the trash bag outside, and we like come over to this car, and it's like a black car. Dude pulls out like this huge gun and starts shooting me. I didn't feel pain this time, but I could tell it kept happening because I could see myself in the reflection of this car, but I was like face down on the ground, so it was like my perspective was above me, or like floating above my head. It was really scary because I kept just seeing him shoot me, and I'm like covering my head and my neck. I'm literally having the thoughts like, am I gonna die? Can I make it out of this alive? If I got to a hospital, could I be saved? Should I be pressing on this? Like, thoughts that, you know, you don't, I hope, think that you'd have to have at some point. It's traumatizing. I'm like thinking like, what's gonna happen to my family? And like, cat. I don't know what happened after that, because you don't die. So I think I just woke up and I was like really relieved. Hi Nina. This one's weird. One night I had this dream where I was like in a city like the one I live in, and I was helping this Muslim woman run her store. She had 2 little kids. And then I woke up, and then when I went back to bed, I started dreaming of the place I had just been dreaming of, and her husband showed up. Suddenly there were customers, and there's this blonde girl with like this bob, and she and several other people, including myself, started robbing the store. And what was weird was we didn't like have any weapons. We weren't pointing guns at anybody. The people were kind of just stuck in like these mannequin like positions, like when you play museum. And for some reason we just weren't concerned that once we left they would like call the cops. So they must have like been stuck like that for some reason. And we got into this big van that someone I went to school with was waiting in, like Money Heist, but it just kept happening again. Like we kept robbing places, and if one of us died, we would respond to the next place like a video game, which is going to be becoming a theme, as you will see. One night I woke up thinking I had sliced my hand. I was having some kind of dream where there was like some kind of version of a virtual reality. The quality of the graphics wasn't great, and that was something I noted. Anyway, one of the things that I had to do was like swim, and there was like an obstacle, so there would be like things like slicing you and stuff, and you had to like stay within these boundaries. I ended up slicing my hand like this, and I didn't want to swim because like it would be like skin flopping around while I'm trying to like, yeah. Anyway, I just remember my character in the virtual world thing did not have very good graphics in comparison to when I fell back asleep after I'd woken up. I'm like, okay. All of a sudden, like I'm walking down this street, and it's like a big city, but it's also like not that big. And there's like a lot of people all walking in this one direction. They're all like 20-year-olds. The closest thing I can describe to like what I think happened was it was like there was an event at some kind of convention center that a bunch of people were willingly going to. I don't know if it was like some kind of trial experiment or just like we're just gaming. I'm trying to remember like exactly like how this went. It was like 10 o'clock or something like that. Not quite the afternoon. It felt like a field trip vibe. And like the characters looked like KDA from League of Legends. And like if you ever looked up like the male covers of their songs on YouTube, like literally that was like what the guys looked like. So the graphics improved. It seemed like something everybody was familiar with, but it was so much more intense, so nobody else thought to take off the headphones, which somehow made you see things because it wasn't over the eyes. I just remember like when we were done, we like hung them up and it was just like headphones. Anyway, I kind of need to refer to my notes right now. When we enter the game, we have to beat levels. Hundreds of 20-year-olds are the ones playing. You could take off your headset, but you'd have to end or die or figure out a way to pause, and you'd forget that you could leave. It was really fast-paced. There was running all the time, I felt like. It was horrific. There was like a room full of books, and like bad things would eventually happen everywhere you went. It wasn't immediately clear to me what the objective or the antagonist was, but there was just always like some force, and it didn't seem to be like a monster or something that you could see, which made it more terrifying, I think. Yeah, people would just keep getting hurt and die. People kept getting stuck on like levels, and like everybody was just trying to figure out how to get through the game. Shakira was there, my drafting teacher from high school was there, kind of as a part of the game almost. And it felt like we were playing for 12 hours, but the game, I remember, was specifically supposed to end at 6:05 p.m. It seemed, I can't, I guess, confirm, but it seemed like I was the only one who paused and figured out how to pause and like took off my headset when it got really intense, and like that's kind of why I won. Pausing or trying to get it off was really hectic. It was always a hassle. It was always like an event. Even just trying to figure out how to pause it, it wasn't explicitly obvious. I don't even remember how I figured out how to do it. And this is like another one of the dreams where I felt pain. I felt panic. And these were things that prompted me to want to stop. I don't know if all of us were aware that this was what we were getting into, but I could tell that everybody at multiple points wanted to stop. And winning wasn't like this big heroic event in the game, but everybody was so rattled that when I beat it, everybody would just like, oh, like they heard about me. They saw me die, but somehow I won. This is like so embarrassing. Anyway, like some levels, like I was just with girls and some girls and then sometimes there was like girls and guys both in the area and things attacking you. When I stopped, then it was easier to figure out how to get to the next level. And when it was over, everybody just took off their headphones, hung them on a screen. I don't know what the screen would be for, but okay. It was like bigger than the average human, probably like 7 feet tall. And we were just like in this giant hall. For some reason after that, I was just like zooming places. Like I figured out how to move fast. And then because of that, like this girl I went to school with said, "Hey, like you." That was weird. Something interesting I could mention is that the boss at the end was like literally, it was like a mosh pit and there's like a hole in the middle and there's like a screen. There's like this dude's like eye in the screen, like very close. It was like, okay. I don't know what happened, but that I beat it somehow. After the game that ended at 6:05, there was supposed to be this ice cream place that was opening for the first time at 6:05. So everybody was gonna go do that at the end. The night after that, I had another dream with sort of like the night before. It wasn't VR, but there were hundreds of people in the area again, and it looked like the same one. That's how I felt like I could tell everybody was like sort of happy or okay going into it. I was really confused. There was this like pizza place inside of the hall. I think it might have been there in the dream I had the day before, but I'm not sure. Not in the game, but like the actual building where we were doing that. Michelle was there and she made me lentils in this giant crepe with figs. And there was this guy throwing, like instead of t-shirts, like a gun or something, these like Tinkerbell window covers. I don't know why they were Tinkerbell window covers, but they were Tinkerbell window covers. And they were like felt, and I was so honored to receive one. It was like layered rectangular layers of green felt with like a little roof shingle or something. But yeah, I was so happy to get one. I think there were cats. I think there were like hundreds of cats. And my dad was there in some room. In this dream, I saw that dude that I mentioned before. We looked at each other and then he turned. In this particular dream, we like locked eyes and then he turned and walked away into a path. And this is either the second or third dream where we have made eye contact and then he has gone in the other direction, just always walking away, and it's just like really weird. And why? Why is he always making eye contact with me and then walking away? I don't know. And somebody was killing people. I literally feel crazy talking about this. Someone was killing people and I thought it might have been him. Spanish teacher was there. And this dude with long light brown hair ended up being the murderer of these people. And there was this elevator. He was holding onto the bar and I ended up being in the elevator like on the other side. It's like there's like 2 elevators like this. But for some reason, either wasn't bothered by me being there, or just didn't see me or didn't care. The way that his hand was on the bar, it was like really close to my hair, something I noticed. And people were gathering, and I was there early in the morning, and I guess it was like the family of that dude. I thought that's why I thought it might have been, because why did I need to be there? I don't know. I don't know. In another dream, I was like at a skating rink and I saw him, and then he walked out of the room after we looked at each other, and then like there was like an earthquake, and then it was super weird. There was like drums, and like everybody's clothes changed and people were turning into wolves, and it seemed like he didn't like me. Like he was like annoyed that I was there, but I was like supposed to like be with him. It was weird. Anyway. So in conclusion, I don't really know what to make of all of these things. I kind of just find it interesting to talk about the subject matter of dreams, and then dissect it. Oh. I guess I didn't really dissect it though. I kind of just said it on a superficial surface level. But yeah, dude, that was me. I was talking about dreams in my robe. Found it fitting. That's it.